Next item.
No, I don't like that.
It's on the bottom.
John doesn't
Oh,
have to
okay,
see.
all right, I got it, all right.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Fulton?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jasonton? Mr. Matisich?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
And finally, policy number 3260/70 is the easy PC recycling plan that we have. We have to update our policy on that. We're not updating it. Oh, we're just making a motion.
So this is the existing policy.
We have a policy, correct, that is the policy number, we just have to we have to have a motion on when and if we are recycling.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
Okay.
we're going to that.
Yes.
Before you do anything, I recommend whenever you dispose of property, you're actually always supposed to have language in there that there's minimal or no value to it.
Okay.
Because the property actually belongs to taxpayers. And I know most of them probably have no value, but I would just add that language to it. Because I don't think I see it.
Should we then hold on to the policy until that's in there?
Yeah.
Rich, should we hold on to the policy until it's rewritten with that language and vote on it at the next meeting?
You can do it right now. You could do it as the mover of the motion and say, adding the language.
All right, I
All of
move
these
then,
items have minimal and or no value to the district.
all right, I move on this policy, adding the language that there's of minimal or no value to the items that we are recycling.
Great. Now you're making that motion, and now we get a second.
I'll second.
Jeffrey Wood.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Fulton?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jasonton? Jeff? Mr. Matisich?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Anthony?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Now, PTA, PTSA, student activities. Ms. Wang?
There are 5 resolutions before you for student activities. I move that we consent all 5.
I second it.
Any discussion? Roll call?
John Madison seconded.
I'm sorry.
John Madison seconded.
On what?
This is PTA.
On student activities?
Yes.
Field
Yes.
trips?
Yes.
Field trips?
Yes.
Roll call?
Ms. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mr. Fulton?
Yes.
Mr. Donovan?
Yes.
Ms. Wang?
Yes.
Mr. Jasonton?
Yes.
Mr. Matisich?
Yes.
Mr. Rotundo?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Calendar, food, service, Ms. Wang?
There's no report at this time.
NJ School Board Liaison, Mr. Bruno is not here. Anthony?
No, I have, nothing. Just that the, school board convention is next week, from October 25th through the 27th.
Any old business? New business?
Yes, I just wanted to echo my fellow board members' comments regarding the event that was held by the PTA, PTSA, and the KPG. These ladies worked very hard, and I commend them and thank them for all their hard work. And I didn't get there till about 4:30 or so, and this has no reflection on them, but I was very dismayed when I went to walk in the gate to have been greeted by a very large pop-up tent that said Palisades Park Democrats on it, with campaign signs hanging from it. And I didn't go over to it, I didn't know really what was going on, but as far as I'm aware, as the chairman of the Buildings and Grounds Committee, we only authorized one organization to be there that day, and that was the PTA and KPG to run that event. I don't know how this occurred, or who was responsible for it, but I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention and to Mr. Cirillo's attention, because I know he wasn't there, and to somehow take steps to make sure that doesn't happen again. Again, it was a violation of board policy because whoever ran it did not get any permission from the board to do that. And besides that, it was apparently very upsetting to the members of PTA because 3 of them came up to me in the couple of hours that I was there and mentioned it and said that they were a little bit annoyed that that occurred and it rained on their parade. So in general, over the years, events like that and events involving school grounds are usually to be considered content neutral. That's the first time I've ever seen any political organization or candidates or whatever kind of crash another organization's event. So, Mr. Cirillo, if you would look into that, please, and take whatever steps are necessary to, you know, make sure that doesn't happen again.
I will.
Any more new business? We need a motion for audience participation.
I make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Audience participation?
Okay. I just need to clarify some things that Mr. Kim said. We had a negotiations
Just
meeting,
state your name.
Kathy Doheny, co-president of the Palisades Park Education Association. We had a meeting scheduled for October 6th, and we were told that there were no new things going to be put on the table and discussion, so we canceled that meeting. Then we got 2 dates for mediation, one being Halloween, and apparently they said Halloween wasn't a good day. I just got another text from Rich Lockey, and he says that he has a letter on his desk confirming that we are meeting for mediation on November 22nd. Are we not?
I just didn't get the letter, to be honest with you. I have not gotten anything from the mediator yet, but yes, the 22nd is the date I agreed to. The 31st wasn't the board, it was me that didn't make it that night.
Right.
And you're right about the 6th. You know, my position, in all honesty, and speaking to the board, was if nothing new is gonna be discussed, are we just wasting the time? I mean, it's great we still have face-to-face, but at the same time, if we're not gonna change anything, let's just wait for the third party to come in, which I think we all agreed is gonna be the better way to do this. So the 22nd, as far as I'm concerned, is what I have down on my calendar.
That's what we have, but this is gonna become a long-term process. It's gonna be just, it seems to us, it's
Not
gonna be
necessarily.
just like the old days.
Doesn't always happen that way.
Well, we'll see.
We've
We'll
had
see.
I've had mediations.
I have to be honest with you, I'm so
I've represented
disappointed that
happen.
we're at this stage of the game, that we're not, we haven't moved past this by now.
I mean, I guess I just have a different opinion of how things are going.
Mm.
But,
We'll
you know,
see.
I just think having a third party involved is always
I
very helpful.
disagree that third party's involved, but we should have done this from the very beginning, if that's what we thought at the beginning, because I think we all remember saying that that mediator was just a formality, and we didn't really need them there, because we were gonna settle up before that. But if that was the case, we should have done this back, and we might have had a mediator way before November
We
22nd.
went, I'm sorry, please, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think if you remember, we agreed, I think after the second meeting, that we would go to mediation. So I don't think that's, I mean, I've
We
been
didn't
in
meet all
districts
summer,
where
we
we've
should
met
have done
30
this.
times.
Yeah, but we should have done this back then, but it's too late now, but bottom line, let's hope that this moves along a little better than it has done in the past.
I'm always optimistic.
Me too.
Please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Sandra. I'm a schooling. I'm one of the moms. I have a daughter in high school, and I have a question. I know there's a lot of meetings for the kids organized almost every month about bullying, which is wonderful and very important. But I wonder how come there was never a meeting about drugs, like a big meeting for the kids, maybe with the even police, involved with the information about drugs, about alcohol. These things happening in the schools. I mean, not a school, but it's happening in this age, and they're not aware. There's absolutely nothing talking about in the health classes about safe sex, about drugs, about alcohol. These kids are going to college. They don't know anything. They're finding this stuff from the internet, from TV, from parties. They go in parties, and I know about it. They're drinking, there are drugs involved, and not on the permit of the school, of course, but I just want these kids to be safe. And I thought it will really help if we bring something, the subjects to the health class, or even once a month, some kind of meeting, and open the kids' eyes a little bit, because I don't think they're really aware what's going on. And we know it's 21st century, and we have access to everything, and they have access to everything. So they just.
So, again, first, thank you for being here. You said a few things that are very important to me, but one really, really concerning was that drugs and drinking that you know about, we need to know about. If that is happening.
I mean, I heard, I'm not know
But again,
personally.
I'd rather be safe than sorry. And if we are not reachable because it's a Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon, I'd call the police department and advise them. Again, this is not something we treat lightly. It's not something we condone. Safety and security is, as far as I'm concerned, my number one priority. I've always said that, and I mean that sincerely. With that being said, I will tell you, I've been in touch with the prosecutor's office. As a matter of fact, within the last month, they have reached out to Cliffside Park, Fairview, Palisades Park, Leonia Public Schools. We are working on a joint meeting because we wish there was more parental involvement. But the prosecutor's office wants more. They want to reach a bigger audience. And again, I will tell you, the conversation has started. I very likely would anticipate something before the new year, probably at Cliffside Park. It's not, again, if they asked us to house it, I would be more than happy to accommodate. They are probably going to run the forum. We will offer it to all of our parents and community members. But again, if something is brought to your attention, whether it's true, false, please contact.
I'm talking generally.
Yeah.
I think it's that issue should be part of the health class, sort
And-
of, you know.
And I would assume it's in the
know we have to
curriculum.
follow-
I don't know otherwise. I will double check the curriculum. I wrote it here tomorrow. I will ensure that what we're doing is with the mandates. And again, common sense is always very important. So let's hope that we're instructing proper.
Okay,
Thank you, Doc.
thank you.
Dr. Searle, might I add, we had that assembly with the
Yes.
nice gentleman who
Yeah.
spoke on.
State Farm, last spring.
Yes, I thought that was very great, and that was, that probably hit home for a lot of the students.
So what Mr. Wu is speaking to, last spring we had a State Farm assembly for the high school students, which a former professional soccer player, unfortunately, after having a few drinks, took the life of an innocent person on the street. And I will tell you, in conjunction with State Farm and working with Hackensack University Medical Center, we were able to offer it to high school age students. Mr. Wu happened to be with me that day. We went to the high school, and again, thank you for bringing that up. I forget. We do a lot of programs routinely at the high school. We even offer them at Lindbergh.
We're actually starting Red Ribbon Week next week, which is a whole week dedicated to being drug-free and alcohol-free. And it's a celebration, informational, educational for the
Yeah,
students. That's
this
fun
one
as
meant,
well.
So
So
they, sorry for what.
Thank
I'm
you.
so sorry.
No, listen, I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Doc.
Anything further? Yeah.
My name is Jane Moore. I live at 80 Brinkerhoff Terrace in Palisades Park. I have two questions, please. To Mr. Kim's and Mrs. Dohany's point about negotiations. I do remember being here in March and statements being made that negotiations this year, now, were going to go quickly. There was board commitment to, we were going to do this, we were going to handle it, we were going to get it done, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, from what I'm hearing today, it seems to be we're in the same spot, the same stuck spot that we have been previously for many, many years. My second point. To the duplexes and triplexes. I would like to know what is happening with the building construction, and it would seem that it has to start quickly, referendum has to be done, plans have to be made, otherwise we're going to have trailers on parking lots. I haven't heard anything, and I've been here for the last 4 or 5 board meetings. I want to know, I would like to know, please, where we are in that.
Sure. I know about a month ago, maybe a little bit more, you and I had a nice candid conversation over the phone. I will tell you, we have submitted all documentation required to Whitehall Associates, who is doing in conjunction with our architects, Mount Vernon Group, a
Mhm.
demographic study. Based on a demographic study, which is a collaboration of the building department and the school, showing enrollment trends going way north, we have to make some sort of arrangements.
Mhm.
I will tell you, the conversation amongst board members, municipal officials has begun. We're hopeful that there will be something on an April election. Conversation was to that extent. Again, though, before the architects and the school officials put together a list, a wish list, but also necessities that are of vital importance. Stuff we've talked about with Mrs. Palazzo, boilers, windows, pipes, classrooms. These are all major items. A wish list is given to the architects. A price tag has to be attributed to that. And whether it's a one-time, let's keep our fingers crossed, big number, or a few different referendums over years. That's something that will be determined in, I would assume, the coming weeks, month or two, a decision has to be made.
Because you're on the clock.
I think the clock is past us.
Either that or you're gonna need trailers all over the place. Because there's no place to put any more children.
You retired at a good time.
Are you asking me to come back to work?
Sure, please.
You're still in negotiations. Really, come on.
room for you though when you go.
Yeah, we don't have any room. I would come back if you had a room. I don't have a room.
Boiler room.
Tony will find me a room. There we
The
go.
boiler room. Thank you, Jim. We will, again, I think in the
Okay.
next month or two at our
Yeah.
meetings, much more will be decided.
Yeah.
Anything further?
It's Mary Turnover. Just so you know, we just finished our last fundraiser. We started around with our second one. Just so you know, it's called Palisades Park BTSA proudly presents Rock the Runway, which will be our fashion show. And so save the date, it's March 16, 2017, and we have begun already. We've started.
They scare me. They scare me.
I think they did really well.
Very nice. Very nice. I like it.
And we're having all the children involved in it, and it's
Same as
gonna
last
be
year?
all different rock years.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh,
And
cute.
teachers.
Cute, very.
Actually, we have also, Mr. Arvito is gonna get a couple kids to play and perform.
Awesome.
You know, we're trying to do more things and getting the kids really involved in everything that we do. And the teachers, there's actually 2 staff members, possibly 3, that will be playing with the kids, which I think is great. Should I say my name? Melissa Moran.
Thank you.
We had our meet and greet, yes, and, we had 30 parents that showed up at the meet and greet. That may not seem like much, but considering that we usually have no more than 5 at most meetings, I think that was great. We had a lot of positive feedback from the parents. We actually had parents that were, willing to volunteer more and help us out. And I think things are looking very positive for the PTA and the KPG with us doing more things together. The KPG they're just wonderful women and we get along with them very well. And we're really glad that we're gonna start doing more things together.
Very good.
Anything further? Right, motion to close?
I'll make a motion to close.
Second.
And, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. I guess we have to go into close session. Motion. Go into close.